And for more now, let's bring in Virginia Democratic Representative James Walkinshaw. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So you were inside the closed-door deposition today. Give us a sense of what it was like. Was there a lot of tension?
It was a long, tense day, and, it was a frustrating day for me because I don't think we learned a lot, not because Secretary Clinton wasn't open and honest. She answered every question that was asked, but she just doesn't know anything about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell and the crimes they committed. She had sworn to that in a written statement in advance of the deposition. We knew that going in, and it was confirmed today.
Why did it take so long if she clearly didn't have or suggested she didn't have any information?
Well, there were months of good faith negotiation and back and forth between Secretary Clinton, the Clintons' lawyers, and the committee about the terms of their participation. It's important to note that a number of other prominent individuals who, quite frankly, had a lot more information about Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes were not asked by Chairman Comer to answer questions in person. They were allowed to provide written responses to the questions that the committee had for them. So there's been a different standard for Secretary Clinton here, but I think she acquitted herself well today.
Walk us through the moment that a photo was shown and ultimately the hearing had to stop.
I don't want to violate the rules of the deposition myself and describe what happened in the room in detail, but it's been reported that a Republican member of the committee took a photo of Secretary Clinton and then shared that photo with a right-wing MAGA influencer. I think it highlighted the fact that there was unfortunately a political and partisan element to the proceedings today. We knew in advance that Secretary Clinton had no relationship with Epstein, had no significant relationship with Maxwell, never flew on the plane, never went to the island, wasn't involved in any of the crimes, and yet we brought her in today in front of all the cameras to answer questions, and then in violation of the rules, a photo was released from the deposition. So it was unfortunate. I give credit to Secretary Clinton for continuing with the deposition. Regardless of that incident, she would have been well within her rights to step back from the deposition at that point, given that the rules have been violated, but she carried on.
House Oversight Chair James Comer said today that it's very possible Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick could also be called to testify before the committee due to his ties to Epstein. Do you think that that's going to happen? If so, any idea on timing on that?
Well, I don't quite understand why Chairman Comer continues to qualify it and say that it might happen or it may happen or maybe it's on his list. He should just say we're going to do it. Democrats have called on Secretary Lutnick to come before the committee and testify. Chairman Comer has the power to make that happen. There's no reason that he shouldn't do it other than Donald Trump won't like it. And the important thing to know about Howard Lutnick, he lied about the depth and breadth and length of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So did his boss, Donald Trump. We know that there are many inconsistencies in the story Donald Trump has told publicly about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and the facts we now know from the files and other sources. So Trump and Lutnick are in similar circumstances. They lied to the American people, claimed to have a limited or no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and the files have revealed that they both have very, very significant relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. They should both come before our committee and answer questions about that.
Former President Bill Clinton is expected to testify tomorrow. What do you expect to hear from his deposition, and what questions do you have for him?
Well, President Clinton has been clear about the timeline of his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, the fact that through the Clinton Global Initiative, they used Jeffrey Epstein's plane to move from place to place. Clearly, there are pictures demonstrating that relationship between Clinton and Epstein. And I think President Clinton is in the same category as a lot of folks who had a relationship at some point with Jeffrey Epstein. The key questions for all of those folks are, were you involved in any of the crimes that were committed, or did you have knowledge of any of the crimes that were being committed? And I'm glad that President Clinton is coming before our committee tomorrow to answer questions, and I hope we can get to serious resolution of those key questions.
Congressman James Walkinshaw, thank you so much for your time. I don't
Thank
have
you.